Chris Lovejoy, and this is the pilot of a hopefully long-running series of old horror film reviews. Now, what is this series called? It's going to be called The Good, The Weird, and The Just Plain Shit. Today's review is going to be of The Meateater. Never heard of this one? Well, neither have I until I saw it on sale at a local flea market for only 59 cents. Now, the price alone should have warned me, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt and I brought it home anyway. Let's just say that it's nothing like I've ever seen before. Nothing. The movie opens in what looks like an abandoned movie theater, but lo and behold, there is a hermit who not only lives there, but is watching what is supposed to be a Jean Harlow movie. Man, this movie was so cheap, it couldn't even afford to show a 5-second clip of an actual Jean Harlow film. Anyway, said hermit has a really creepy fixation on Miss Harlow, a plot device that won't show up again until the finale of this crapfest. You know, while we're at it, I just want to go ahead and get this out of the way. There is no major meat eating in this movie. You would think that with a title like The Meateater, there would be some cannibalism, right? Wrong. All the meat eating in this movie comes from the hermit eating a single rat and many shots of people shoving hot dogs and beef jerky into their faces. Next we get to see the protagonist? Well, I'm guessing that's what he's supposed to be. His name is Mitford and his life sucks.
Nice anything. I'm tired, Jan. I'm just really sick and tired of it. I just can't take selling shoes anymore. That's all there is to it.
Mitford bids on a movie theater. Can you guess which one? And the real estate agency wants to see him about the purchase.
They want to see me in the morning. I can't believe it. The bid was so low and they accepted it. I'm going to run a movie theater.
Because apparently owning a movie theater is this guy's lifelong dream.
But it's what I want. It's what I've always wanted.
But his wife, named Jan, is a little skeptical.
Ahead of yourself just a little? Don't you think we should talk this thing over?
Please, please convince him not to buy the movie theater so this movie can end. Damn it! At the agency, Mitford learns why the theater was closed in the first place.
I don't understand why the former owner couldn't make it go. Pornography. Pornography.
The bastard!
It kept getting worse and worse until one day he brought in a movie called Carnal Knowledge. Can you imagine driving down the street and having your young'un seated on the marquee?
And that's why we have Cinemax. Mitford says that the only movies whose show will be family friendly.
Well, I can assure you, Mr. Knuckle, the crust will play nothing stronger than a G.
Oh, that's fine.
In the theater is his. Why are people so eager to give this man a movie theater? The family moves and Mitford and Jan spend a little time in the theater cleaning, and he even waves a dead rodent in her face.
Hey, baby. How'd you like to make love between the jujubes and the malted milk balls?
Gee, this guy needs major help with foreplay. Suddenly, the wifey runs into what I think is the antagonist.
I can live across the street.
My husband and I just bought it, and we're starting to open it again. It'll be open in a couple of days. We'd really like for you to come.
No.
Stuttering. He lives across the street from the main location, and he's objecting the reopening of the theater. Hoji, could this guy possibly know something that we don't? But he disappears. Oh no, please, I'm dying to know what he knows. But what good is a movie theater without a projectionist? Meet Raymond, apparently the only person in the entire town that is interested in projection, because he is the only person who even bothered applying for the job. And as he is waiting for Mitford, he spends a little time voyeuring Mitford's daughter Jeannie. Mitford surprisingly takes this very well, as he shows no emotion about a really creepy guy visually molesting his daughter.
Raymond, you want to sit over here?
Raymond here is a very sad attempt at comic relief.
Oh, I've spent a lot of time in movie theaters.
Projecting?
Mostly watching.
Anyway, the big night comes, it's a full house, and everybody is happy. Well, everyone except the Jean Harlow hermit. Either he's mad because people have invaded his home, or because Mitford's idea of family entertainment is a badly made generic nature documentary.
But as the sands of time brought change and prosperity, so did they bring an ever-increasing...
And I really think it's the latter.
...for food.
The Hermit has enough of this Discovery Channel knockoff shit and decides to, somehow, rewire some switch that doesn't look like it belongs in a projection booth and fry Raymond's ass. This causes the screen to reveal there is a hanging body behind the screen, and the audience runs away after realizing that said hanging body is a metaphor for their future acting careers after appearing in this garbage. Mitford and Jan console each other after it's apparent that his movie theater dreams are now up in smoke. In the words of Homer Simpson, woo! But of course it doesn't end there. After Raymond's death, we meet Lieutenant Wombat, who is sadly one of the more interesting characters in this movie.
A hell of a mess. That kid up there looked like burnt toast.
After trying to get his 1930s gangster rip-off partner to try to open the door to behind the screen, they, of course, find a body. But it's so cheap-looking that the stuff at Party City is scarier.
Easy, Mulligan. That's a human being.
You would think that after an event like that, the sensible thing to do would be to drop the theater altogether, right? Well, Mitford is still hung up on living his movie theater fantasy.
What else can we do? We have to open the theater again.
But what about Raymond?
Raymond didn't know what he was doing. I feel badly about it, obviously.
Yeah, because your emotion is just astounding. As it turns out, if you own property that not only had someone die, but also had a hanging corpse, there are some legal issues that need to be taken care of. Mitford goes off to take care of just that, leaving Jan by herself. But of course she isn't really alone, because just right out her window is none other than the questionable antagonist! You know, in a movie that's mostly filler and drags a lot, the middle section of this movie is painfully slow. So, I'll try my best to condense it, alright? Here it goes. After finding out that this man was watching her through a window, she does the only sensible thing and follows him. She somehow finds the exact house across the theater where he lives, which has nothing but a picture of a magician and kittens eating crap. Somehow figures out to look in the theater. The man tells her about his brother that allegedly burned to death in a fire. Mitford tells Jan that the man who hanged himself was the first owner. That shouldn't have been too hard to figure out. They have a laughably bad argument about reopening the theater.
Hung himself. But the good news is we can open the theater again. The case is closed. I thought you'd be happy.
I don't want it to open.
Why not?
Mitford comes up with a brilliant plan to invite Lieutenant Wombat over to convince Jan that reopening isn't a bad thing. He explains more about Ben, the brother who allegedly burned to death in the fire, and he even manages to squeeze some really unnecessary tidbits into the conversation as well.
The mustache. Wife made me shave it off last night. Said it tickled her. You know what I mean? Sausage sticks and nicotine. One roads your breath, the other rots your lungs.
Glad